According to the main international news reports, the fighters F-16 donated to Ukraine are expected to begin operating in July this year. With the introduction of new fighters approaching, the question arises. The Ukrainians' F-16 will have a chance against Russian fighters. What would a fight against the Su-35 be like? F-16, which will be donated by countries such as the Netherlands and Denmark, are basic AB versions updated to the MLU standard. The main sensor of these fighters is still the APG-66 mechanical scanning radar. It is a legacy radar, with outdated technology, whose basic design dates back several decades. The range of this radar, in its most updated version, is approximately 70 kilometers against a target with an RCS of 1 square meter. Against a target with an RCS of 10 square meters, the range should increase to around 130 kilometers. The Sukhoi Su-35 received some modifications, such as the application of absorbent material, to reduce its radar signature. Although it did not receive more advanced features found in other fourth-generation fighters, such as Gripen, Rafale and Typhoon, Sukhoi claims that the RCS of the Su-35 could be up to 6 times lower than the RCS of the old Su-27, which was around 15 square meters. This puts the RCS of the Su-35 at 2 to 3 square meters in clean configuration. In basic air combat configuration, this value should be a couple times larger, around 5 to 6 square meters, depending on the number of missiles transported externally. This means that the Su-35 must be detected by the F-16 approximately 100 kilometers away, with this value being able to vary slightly more or less depending on some other variables. The Su-35 is equipped with the Irbis radar, with passive electronic scanning. This large radar can detect a target with an RCS of 3 square meters, something close to AF-16 basic air combat configuration, about 200 kilometers away. While also not the latest technology, passive electronically scanned array radars, known by the acronym PESA, are still more capable than mechanically scanned radars such as the APG-66, and the large antenna aperture and transmit power ensure the Irbis a very satisfactory range. We can see, therefore, that the Su-35 will detect the F-16 before being detected, which guarantees a great tactical advantage. However, it is not enough to detect at long distance, and I need to have a weapon with a compatible range. The Russians have the R-37M missile, whose maximum range can exceed 300 kilometers against large targets, although the range against fighters is smaller. However, as we saw in the last video posted here on the channel, the primary function of the R-37M is to engage large and slow targets such as intelligence aircraft, which is why its performance against agile targets such as fighters is not so good, as it is limited to targets maneuvering at a maximum of 8G. The F-16 would have no problem detecting emissions from the active radar of the R-37M and implement evasive maneuvers, and would likely be a difficult target for the Russian missile, provided, of course, that the Ukrainian pilots have received sufficient training. Engagements with R-37M can, however, hinder the F-16, forcing him to jettison your tanks to gain agility and interrupt your attack and patrol missions. Another option for the Russians would be to use the R-77 missile, the most modern version of which has a range of 110 kilometers. Although it does not have as long a range as the R-37M, the R-77 is much more agile, and has enough range to be launched perhaps even before the F-16 is able to detect the Su-35. Launching the missile at maximum range means it will reach the target with little energy, but assuming the Su-35 will detect F-16 before, it will have enough time to accelerate and climb, performing a launch at high altitude and speed that would extend the R-77's maximum range. It is not yet certain which BVR missile will equip the F-16 Ukrainians, but the best weapon available would be the AIM-120D AMRAAM. This active radar missile has an estimated maximum range of around 160 kilometers, and its two-stage engine guarantees a large no-escape zone. This missile is currently superior to the Russian R-77. However, To fire at the Su-35 at 160 kilometers, the F-16 would need to detect it at this distance, something unlikely to be achieved with the APG-66, not only due to the relatively short range of this radar, but also due to its vulnerability to electronic interference. The Su-35 has powerful ECM antennas to interfere with enemy radars, and even though they are not enough to completely block the APG-66, it is quite reasonable to assume that they would be able to degrade its performance, especially since it is, as already mentioned here, a legacy radar of mechanical scanning whose basic design is quite old. Perhaps the only chance for the F-16 to get close enough to the Su-35 is exploring soil disorder. The Earth's surface reflects radio waves, and a target flying very low blends into the background, which delays its detection until the enemy fire control system can distinguish it from the noise. Ukrainian F-16s could fly low, exploiting the clutter of the ground, to reduce the distance at which they would be detected by Su-35s. This tactic, however, brings with it another problem. Launching missiles at low altitude greatly reduces the maximum range, due to greater aerodynamic drag. A missile launched at low altitude can lose more than half its range compared to a launch at high altitude. Meanwhile, the Su-35, flying high and fast, can even extend the maximum range of its R-77. This puts the Ukrainian F-16s in a dilemma. Fly high to extend the range of your missiles but be detected at a long distance, or fly low to reduce the enemy's detection distance but drastically reduce the range of your weapons. It is clear that it does not matter much which option the Ukrainians choose. In an aerial combat beyond visual range, the advantage will be of the Sukhoi Su-35. Another point to consider is the level of the pilots. As good as Ukrainian pilots are, they will be newbies in F-16, while Russian pilots they are experienced in their Sukhois. This means that the Russians can exploit their aircraft better than the Ukrainians will achieve to do. Although the legacy F-16 is a great improvement over the Ukrainian Air Force's current fighters, it will not be able to perform miracles. Perhaps the F-16's most valuable contribution is in ground attack missions, where full integration with Western guided weapons could extend strike capabilities to important frontline targets. In aerial combat against Russian fighters, the prospects for victory are not very good. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.